Well, good afternoon. I believe I am live on Facebook, Band, and on YouTube. And so hopefully this is the route we're going to be able to go from now on into the future. We'll be able to stream to all three platforms from our YouTube platform. I would just like to recommend to you as you're watching. I'd like to recommend that you start viewing from YouTube if you haven't already been on our YouTube channel and subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you don't already have the YouTube app on your phone or on your device, I would encourage you to do that and go to our YouTube channel. And I believe it's youtube.com/C/Crossroads Church GV. And that will get you to our YouTube channel. And we are actually, one of the things we're looking at doing is maybe instead of streaming to Band, we're going to post the viewing link in Band, and you'll still be able to view it during a lunch and learn. We're not sure on that, but that's something we're going to try. But I wanted to make sure we were able to get live on all three platforms first. So I would love to know who's here and who's watching. My problem is I don't know where to look when you let me know that you're here anymore, because I've actually got this is really kind of interesting. At least I find it interesting as a techie guy. I've got 4 windows, actually 5 windows open right now. So we have to, in order to do this way, I've got a streaming app open, and that's where I start streaming from. But then we've got another browser that we stream into, and then it divides the stream off into Facebook and Band and YouTube. And so we start with here, then we stream into here, and then it goes into these 3. However, I still have to have Facebook, Band, and YouTube open in order to hit start stream in each of those. So I've got to start the stream here. I've got to make sure the settings are okay here, and then start the stream or go live on Facebook, Band, and YouTube. And so that has a tendency to mess me up. And so if we're going to stream to all 3, I don't know where to look when people say hi. We hope that that maybe we can someday find something that actually having church on Sunday. We are still planning to. Central Jackson County Fire Protection District has been out here. They have measured our building. They have given us the specs on our maximum capacity on our building, and we know this based on their numbers, whether the county's Sunday service. Again, I do want to reiterate that is not something that we are saying you really need to be here. We're not even necessarily encouraging you, please come out. It is based on if you feel comfortable coming out. 1, are you well? 2, are you in one of the vulnerable demographics? In someone who's older, or someone whose immune system is compromised, or you have other types of issues that could be compromised by the coronavirus. We want to encourage you to continue to stay home. We're going to continue to live stream at home. And so we don't want you to feel any pressure to get out and come be a part of the service if we're able to meet this Sunday. I did get word last night Actually, yesterday around 5 o'clock, I got a text, and then I got another message later last night that a decision had been made, but we are not going to go live with that until we see it in writing. Just because it looks like they're still second guessing their decisions. And so we don't want to be oh yeah, we're going to meet, oh no we're not, oh yeah, we're going to meet, oh no we're not. So just be patient with us, please, and we will get word to you just as soon as we can. But yeah, if you're comfortable getting out and want to come, and be a part of our corporate worship together this coming Sunday, if we get word from the county. So anyway, just a couple of things that have come out of this season that I just wanted to get you guys to maybe give some feedback on. But I think we are going to try to continue to do the lunch and learns, once things are all back and open back up, we may not be able to go live every day. I may try to record some that can be posted at 12:30. We may try to go live some days, but we want to try to continue to do some of these lunch and learns. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from those, and people really seem to be enjoying them and participating in them well. And so we want to continue to do that for you and with you. And then the other thing that has come out of this that I really think is just a super thing. I stole the idea. It wasn't unique to me. I didn't come up with it, but our We Are C2 interviews with folks in the church. We've only done 2, but man, I'm enjoying doing them. I'm enjoying being a part of them. And I think it's really, the feedback I've gotten so far is that our folks are really, really enjoying them and getting to know even those that know the couples that we've been interviewing have found it very, very fascinating and interesting. So we would probably plan to continue to do those 1 or 2 a week once things go back to whatever normal is in the future. And so yeah, I just want to kind of get on that these have been cool. They've been, are you a camper or are you a quitter? By the name of Paul Stoles wrote a book, AQ at Work. And AQ stands for Adversity Quotient. Now, you've heard of IQ, which is, your intelligence quotient. And then maybe you've heard of an EQ, which is what's called emotional intelligence. And those kind of the quotient. And he first introduced this idea that you can measure, just like you can measure a person's personality, you can measure their intelligence, you can measure their emotional intelligence, you can measure their ability to handle adversity. And so he introduced these ideas of climbers, campers, and quitters. And he suggests that we all have a unique purpose, a unique mountain to climb. And when adversity strikes, we have a tendency to respond in one of 3 ways. When things that we can't control happen, we have a tendency to respond in 3 different ways. Some people climb, and they're fueled by challenges. So when adversity hits, when a pandemic hits, they're fueled by challenges. They refuse to be insignificant in their work and in their relationships. They're dedicated to the lifelong climb. I mean, they are in it to win it, and adversity is not going to affect them. They're not going to let adversity take them down or mess them up. And so he calls that those people climbers. Then he said, most people are campers, though. And he said, those campers, they go for security and stability. They represent half-tapped potential. Now he puts that percentage of the population, he puts it at 50% are campers. When adversity hits, they just kind of stop and they camp. They just put up camp. They're like, I'm not going forward. We're not going to continue to climb. We're just going to stop and camp until the adversity is over, until the storm is over. And so they're campers. Barna also has done a study on these groups. Barna calls them engaged and not engaged. And also kind of backs up those percentages of 35% of the population are climbers, 50% are campers. They destroy the people around them. They destroy their homes. They destroy their families. They destroy the organizations that they're a part of. When adversity hits, they just quit. They're going to ruin it for everybody. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, I know some climbers, I know some campers, and I know some quitters. And maybe you've been affected by one. But which one are you? Are you a climber that you just kind of get fueled by adversity? I tend to be a climber. When coronavirus hit, when the shutdown hit, it just kind of fueled me. It was a challenge. We've got to do church differently. I've honestly found this season to be vigor right now. Look at the things that you're not involved in, the things that aren't pulling you apart. Look at those things, evaluate them, reprioritize, re-engage, reassess. And first of all, start with what we called the essentials. Start with the word. Start with prayer. Start with community. Start with serving. As you reassess and reevaluate and reprioritize, put those four things in your life first: the word, prayer, community, and service. And then see what you've got left. So I really have. I've seen this as a great challenge to reevaluate ministry. I'm kind of in that camp where I kind of think I don't think life is really ever going to go back to normal. It may go back to somewhat normal. It may go back to fairly normal. It may go back to a completely new normal. I really don't know, but I know it's not going to go back to just the way life was. And how are you preparing for that? Are you a climber that you're fueled by the challenges? You refuse to be insignificant in your work and your relationships. You're dedicated to the lifelong climb in spite of the adversities. I tell you, my greatest challenge has really been the reopening, the back and forth, and then of course the polarized views and the political views. It's just exhausting, and trying to make decisions to continue to climb, and being unable to make those decisions because I'm not in control. I'm not in control of those decisions. And so trying to go forward and make those decisions. I heard this term this morning. Oh gosh, what was the term? Decision exhaustion, I think was the word. Decision fatigue or decision exhaustion, one of the two. But anyway, it was just like making decisions in this time. It's just exhausting. It's fatiguing. Or maybe you're a camper. Maybe you're one of those where you just kind of, the world shut down and you just pitched a tent and you're just sitting there. And maybe you're saying, I can't wait till things open back up. I can't wait till things go back to normal. I can't wait till life resumes. And maybe life is passing you by. Maybe opportunities are passing you by. Maybe great growth opportunities are passing you by. You've got some untapped potential. Again, not necessarily to disobey rules, not necessarily to be, cutting edge and to push the envelope on being unsafe. Maybe you've maybe there's opportunities to recreate your business, opportunities to recreate your ministry, opportunities to recreate relationships. And I know a lot of people are suffering from screen fatigue. They're just, man, it's one of my greatest frustrations right now is trying to communicate and trying to engage in communication with folks that are just done. They're just done communicating, and they've just decided to camp out. And they're just going to camp out and wait, and so they're for security and stability, and they're just going to life is just going to stop. I'm just going to watch Netflix. I'm just going to watch YouTube videos. I'm just going to play games. I'm going to put a puzzle together. I'm going to, I'm just going to disengage and wait. And then there's the quitters. Barna calls those the disengaged or the detractors. That they're not just going to stop and camp. They just quit. They're just throwing their hands up and saying, "I'm done. I'm done with all of it. I'm done with everything." And I hope that's not you. But if that is you, I want to challenge you this afternoon to maybe rethink those goals. And rethink your, how you see this time. I've notoriously, almost as a broken record, reminded us that this season did not catch God off guard. This season is God is sovereign and God is in control during this season. And in his providence and in his sovereignty, he is in constant care for an absolute rule over all of creation, for his glory and for the good of his people. And I really do. I believe for the person who is in Christ, I believe this has been a great pause. I think God is saying to the body of Christ, get yourselves ready. Get your house in order. Get your life in order. I've stopped everything. Man, there are some of you that gathering with the body, we often say, and man, I'm kind of all over the place. I should have lunch and learned yesterday because I feel like I'm catching up now. But we talk about the church. We say the church isn't the building, and I think we've beat that senseless. I think you cannot be a part of Crossroads. You cannot attend Crossroads. You can't be a partner at Crossroads, and you can barely be a guest at Crossroads and not know. We adamantly believe that the church is not the building. It's just the way it is. But we do say we are the church. Don't go to church, be the church. But I think maybe even in that, I think sometimes we don't flesh that out as much. We are the church, but the church isn't the church if it doesn't assemble. The church is, the ecclesia. Ecclesia means called out, set apart ones. The church isn't the church unless it assembles, unless it gathers. Now, again, when you can't assemble physically, man, you assemble digitally. Probably if I had this season to do over again, I would probably try to figure out a way to, instead of live streaming our services, I probably would have decided, led us toward Zooming our services, because it's great to get to be a part of the worship. It's great to get to hear the preaching and hear the announcements and on the chat threads, we're encouraging you to greet one another and to say amen and to ask questions or whatever. I'm all for it on any of those, the YouTube, the Facebook, or the band chats. Man, use them up. engage. But I think I'd probably challenge our leadership to maybe rethink: should we have Zoomed so that we could have participated, so we could have seen one another's faces? Because I firmly believe the body is not the body if it's not gathered. And so you've assembled for the last 8 weeks. You've gotten to assemble with me, and you've gotten to assemble with our worship team. But unless you're in small group, you've not gotten to assemble with one another. And we've missed out on that. And so maybe God has stopped life for you on Sundays because He wants you to realize the importance of the gathering of the body. I do hope this. I'm grateful for our live streaming capabilities. It was a long time coming. I've gotten over my own pride and my own ego. And gotten over the fear, and we've tackled it, and we are actually in the process right now of enhancing it. So those who do assemble through, or those who do view and participate through live stream, that experience will be better. Our nursery workers are going to be able to watch the service either in class if they've got a few kids, or they're going to be able to watch and participate afterward. They're going to be able to see what was, sing and hear the singing and hear the preaching. You have to go to the restroom, or if you go out to fill up your coffee, or you're on our safety and security team out there, you don't miss what's going on the inside. And so we're going to make it absolutely impossible for people to stand out in the commons and chit chat during the service to the best of our ability. And so we're doing some things to and so we're trying to enhance that live stream. I think we're going to add a couple more cameras, so there's some different angles, and even be able to pan the congregation at times, or gathering. Live stream does not take the place of assembling. We've got some folks that travel a lot. They travel on business, and they're gone on the weekends. I am so glad they're going to be able to live stream the service wherever they are. They're going to be able to feel like they're connected to the body. They're not necessarily gathering with the body, but they're connected with the body. They're connected with the message. They're connected with the music, and they're able to participate to some extent at that level. When you're on vacation, you won't have to miss your church. When you're sick at home, you're not going to have to miss being part of your church's worship service, and I'm so grateful for that. But please, don't let the enemy convince you. Let's just stay home today. We'll just watch it on live stream. Once we're back to whatever the new normal is, you just can't replace gathering. But anyway, as just talking about climbers and campers and quitters, and there's 4 elements of what Dr. Stolz calls this adversity quotient. There's 4 elements to it. And he has an acrostic for it. He calls it CORE. There's control, there's ownership, there's reach, and there's endurance. Control, ownership, reach, and endurance. And I'll probably unpack that a little bit more tomorrow, and we'll talk about those 4 and how you respond to those 4 elements as a climber, as a camper, or as a quitter. Anyway, I'm excited to have gotten to be with you guys today and to participate with you, and I'm excited that we're able to expand our Lunch and Learns to Facebook and to YouTube, and I hope that's helpful for some of y'all. And we're going to continue to work on how we're streaming to band, and make sure we can do that to the best of our ability. You can get to them, and if you haven't already, please go back and watch our first 2 We Are C2 interviews. Episode 1 with Randy and Teresa Ballard, and episode 2 with Mike and Debbie Haas. Tonight, we're going to be recording episode 3 with Eric and Brandy Henry, and then we will post that as a premiere, a live premiere one night later on this week. So I'm excited about it. We're hitting several here in these days of ramping up toward reopening. Once we get going and once people start, life takes over. We'll slow those down. We might continue to record at this pace, but we'll slow them down and post 1 or 2 a week. But anyway, thanks for taking some time to lunch and learn with me. I hope it's been profitable for you. Again, Crossroads, in every bulletin, you have access to communication cards. Those aren't just for Sundays. Never be afraid to fill out a card, to share a prayer request, to ask a question. You can do that by I believe the link is directionforliving.com/ your prayer requests, your praises, or if God's working in your life and you want to share a decision that you've made, you can share it through that. You can also always share through the comments on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Band once we post the videos. And again, thank you, Crossroads, for being a part. And I love you guys until we get to spend more time together the next time.